Good evening, YouTube. Welcome back to Wendy's Parade with yours truly, Wendy. Today we are going to review and talk about and discuss in depth another perfume that I like to wear in the winter because it is January here in the northern reaches of the world. And the perfume we're going to be discussing today is an amber perfume from Parfum d'Empire called Ambre Russe, and it is from 2003. Now, I consider Parfum d'Empire to be like old guard niche almost. They're not one of the ones that have popped up recently. They've been in the game at least for 20 years, if not longer. Their perfumes are amazing. I don't have all of them. I have a couple though, and every single thing I've smelled has just been incredible. But tonight we're talking about this extremely special amber perfume. And just a note, it's embarrassing, I love this and I've hardly made a dent and I've had this for a few years, but this is the 100 ml bottle. They have, I don't think the company got bought out or anything, but they have, as the way the world goes, been repackaged into 50 ml bottles, not 100 mils. And from what I was reading online, some people say they can tell a difference, some people can't, and some people don't notice it. So I just want the caveat out there that I am reviewing the older version of this perfume. So obviously, it's an amber, it's a spicy amber. The notes are really interesting in the fact that there's like these different groups of notes. Now, I'm not going to talk about like top notes, middle notes, heart notes, because I consider this perfume to be slightly linear. But what it does have is notes of alcohol. It has notes of tea. It has notes of kitchen spices. It has notes of the great outdoors. And it obviously has notes of amber. So as far as the alcohol notes go, we're looking at champagne and vodka, which is kind of cool. We're looking at black tea. We're looking at cumin. I can't really smell cumin, but I'm just putting it out there because that is in the list of notes, and some people say they can smell it. I can't smell it though. But cumin, coriander, cinnamon. They have vanilla. They have incense. You know, as far as the base notes, there's birch, there's juniper, there's amber/ambergris. I'm sure it's synthetic ambergris. This perfume is wonderful, and I'm not saying it's synthetic, but I just don't really think they used real whale ambergris, and leather. So to start off with, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to smell the cap and just swoon a little. I have to do it. So from the cap, it does have that kind of bubbly, fruity champagne note. And as it wears, there's also these really intense, like fruity, stewed fruit notes almost. And you know how sometimes when you smell a glass of wine, especially like white wine or champagne, you can smell fruity notes, and they do smell a little just kind of thick and distilled and concentrated. So those notes exist throughout the perfume, and there's no like fruit notes per se, but I really think that that's what the champagne note is this kind of like fruity, effervescent, kind of sparkling fruity note that kind of goes on for the length of the wear. But as far as like an actual, like you smell like you're smelling like a bottle of champagne that just corked, you only smell that as you open the perfume and you smell it from the cap, which is fitting. Because, you know, it's kind of like smelling your champagne. And the vodka note, a lot of people refer to this perfume as boozy. And when I think of booze, I think of like, you know, you can smell someone's, you know, cognac or like brandy, or even like someone that just smells like you've been drinking way too much wine and you can just smell the alcohol on them, you know, because I don't know if I would say if I smelled like a vodka drink as being boozy, and I don't think it is, because vodka is so astringent and it's so cold and it almost just smells like alcohol. It just is an alcoholic note. And the vodka note, maybe it kind of lasts a little while, lasts like half an hour, but what I really smell when this first opens up, it smells like a hot spiced apple cider with like a shot of vodka on the side. And you're walking into this opulent room where there's like the samovars like full of black tea, and there's clean incense burning, and you know, I don't know, I just picture like oriental rugs and like wood furniture, and it just smells very rich and sweet and luscious and festive. As the perfume wears that kind of spiced apple with vodka, the vodka kind of steps out, and it does start to smell more ambery, like amber, like the way labdanum smells. It smells a lot of cinnamon. There's lots and lots of cinnamon. I don't really smell the cumin, but again, I'm putting it out there for people that are like, oh my God, I don't want to smell like cumin, because some people think that that smells like BO or reminds them like Indian food, and it's just not their bag. So it smells like, you know, if you're into perfume at all, you know what an amber perfume smells like, but this amber perfume just has this layer of clean smoke. Maybe someone from across the room is smoking like, you know, out the door, smoking like a Nat Sherman cigarette, not some baked in like, oh God, smokers lived here with like, you know, their Salems or their Marlboro Lights or something, but just, you know, someone has the door open and there's fresh cold air coming in, but you know, you can get a whiff of their cigarette. Someone's burning really nice incense. That level of smoke, it's not super smoky, but it's just a nice overlay on the amber. And the other thing I can really smell I smell like pine needles, like amber and pine needles, and they're sweet. And I don't know if that's what the juniper is supposed to be, but I just smell like a pine tree, ambery, resinous scent. As it wears down, it does get a little bit more like vanillic amber instead of pine tree amber, and it still maintains that kind of resinous, almost scratchy feeling. This doesn't wear that heavy, but the picture that I have in my mind with like all this stuff going on, like all these drinks being poured and all this tea going on, and you know, all these cigarettes being smoked, it almost is like I need to go outside just for a minute and get a breath of air and like come back in. But it's not in a bad way. It's just what it reminds me of. It reminds me of a warm, festive place that's going on in a wood cabin, and then outside it's dark and cold, and it's just a nice reprieve from, you know, from it being dark and cold. I don't think that this is super leathery. I just think this is like a base amber. And whether or not it's Russian, I don't know. I can definitely smell the tea. The tea note is amazing. I can definitely smell the vodka, and I can definitely smell just the wonderful spices that they use. So really good pick for the winter. The things I'm describing may sound like they're really strong, but except for maybe like when you first spray it on, I don't think this wears that strong. However, it wears just fine with like 2 or 3 sprays. That's all you got to do. I am never going to finish this up. That's probably why it looks like I've literally worn like 3 mils, because I wear this in the winter and I use 2 or 3 sprays at a time, and it's just, I'm never going to finish it up. Maybe that's why they switched to 50 ml bottles. I have no idea. But, you know, quality for cost ratio, it doesn't wear light. It lasts on my skin, about 8 hours. It wears really nicely. It's very pleasant to wear if you like that kind of really warm, comforting, just sweet and festive amber with a little bit of outdoor notes, a little bit of kitchen notes, a little bit of clean smoke. I don't know. I love ambers, and this is definitely top shelf amber, and it's been around for a long time, and it deserves to be. And this house doesn't get a lot of notice, and I don't know why, because they're, in the scheme of things, I think their 50 ml bottles are about $120 right now, and I'm not saying that's cheap. That's not something to, you know, that's not cheap, but in an age where, you know, niche companies are like, oh, our 30 ml bottle is $400, I find that to be fairly reasonable in that domain. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But this company, Parfum d'Empire, they're amazing. And I think if you like ambers, you should check it out. Highly recommended. Highly worn this winter. I've worn it 3 or 4 times already this winter. And that's it for my review. Questions, comments, critique, I would love to hear it. And for anyone that sat through this review, it looks like it's going to be about 10 minutes long this time. I thank you for sticking with me, and I hope you have a great night. Sayonara from Wendy's Parade.